What is the gospel? Now, Peter doesn't use that word, but he gives a beautiful answer to the question in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 24. Speaking of Jesus, he says, "He himself bore our sins in his body on the tree, that we might die to sin and live to righteousness. By his wounds you have been healed." The gospel is good news for a desperately broken world. And it has been broken since almost the very start. When Adam and Eve gave into temptation in the Garden of Eden, their sin brought a curse into the world, as God explains in Genesis chapter 3. That which was to be life-giving became pain-inflicting. The harvest of the ground, meant to be life-sustaining, became exhausting. The gift of childbirth, new life coming into the world, became excruciating. What would mankind have to show for this toil and pain? To dust you shall return, Genesis 3:19 says. When Adam and Eve were sent away from the garden, the way back home with God was barred by an angel with a flaming sword, picturing the curse of the broken law which no human being could hope to overcome. The curse could only be broken by someone who didn't deserve to bear it, taking its full penalty on himself. Peter speaks in terms of the curse when he says that Christ bore our sins in his body on the tree. This is curse-bearing language. Paul writes, referencing Deuteronomy 21, verse 23, "Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. For it is written, 'Cursed is everyone who is hanged on a tree,' Galatians 3:13. The one who perfectly obeyed the law and didn't deserve the pain of the curse died in agony so that we might live the life we were made to. Jesus' words to the penitent thief who hung next to him on the cross are words for every believer. He says, "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Luke 23, verse 43. Through his cursed death on the cross, cursed finally and fully in the place of all of us who believe, Jesus walked through the flaming sword of God's justice and opened the way to paradise. "I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life," Jesus says. "No one comes to the Father but through me," John 14:6. That's the good news. That's the gospel. There's a way back home again by faith in Jesus. And what Jesus accomplished for all who believe is not just re-entrance into the blessing of God's presence, but a return to the blessed way of righteous living according to God's law. The law can no longer inflict judgment on us. It can no longer condemn us because through his wounds we've been healed, as Isaiah 53 verse 5 says. Christ has paid it all. Our record of debt was nailed with Jesus to the cross, as Paul says in Colossians 2. Now, rather than fear death, we can live to righteousness because in him we have been made righteous.